Today's American families with more leisure time and more money to spend are going places in record numbers. For most of us, it's the age of mobility. We spend billions of dollars each year on leisure, and whether we live in the city or suburbs, small town or farm, many of us seem to have a preference for the great outdoors. Affluent America buys everything from sports equipment to club memberships pursuing outdoor recreation. But in our overcrowded cities, with their constant upheaval, dirt, and noise, some children are not so fortunate. They have no place nearby to go and little money to spend. What can they do with their leisure time? The fact is, in our cities where it's needed most, outdoor recreation is not available to many children who have nothing to do when school's out. It's a long, hot summer for our children in the city.
Think of all the children in the city. Think of all the concrete and the tar. All they see are bricks and growing bushes. Never climb a tree to reach a star.
In 1970, President Nixon, aware of this critical problem, requested money from Congress for recreation programs to help these underprivileged children. Even though the request wasn't approved till midsummer, 3 agencies, the President's Council on Youth Opportunity, the Department of Labor's Manpower Administration, and the Department of the Interior's Bureau of Outdoor Recreation, cooperated in expediting the plan. City officials accelerated the project, and programs were begun almost immediately. The Bureau of Outdoor Recreation approved projects funded on the basis of population and percentage of low-income residents. $15 million acquired recreation leaders and equipment needed to bring the outdoors to some 800,000 inner-city children in over 100 of our largest cities. How did the extra money serve the people? Each city had various ways of getting the most recreation out of every dollar spent. Most expanded existing programs. Urban areas with camping projects like Chattanooga were able to take many more children out of the inner cities into the other world of open spaces, greenery, and wildlife.
Think of all the kids without a forest. Think of all the kids without a tree. All that ever grows for them are buildings. Buildings are not pretty things to see.
More children had the advantage of camperships in San Francisco, too. Joe Mizuraka, the city's assistant recreation superintendent, explained how some of their funds were used.
The children that were using these parks without supervision then not only received supervision, but they received some program input from these specialists. We were able to buy $500 worth of fishing gear, the poles and the lines and the bait. So this was a program that had tremendous value. Youngsters were able to go out and fish and actually catch trout within the city. The only thing is our hope that we would have had it earlier so that we could have taken advantage of it with a little more sophisticated approach.
In addition, ferryboat trips gave children a chance to see and learn about San Francisco's unique Bay Area. Instruction classes were offered. Football on the Marina Green near the Golden Gate. Arts and crafts in a downtown recreation center. Here's where chopsticks are definitely in. Environmental education was a highlight of Spokane's expanded day camp program, which also included hearty lunches and additional counselors.
Think of all the children in the city. Think of all the concrete and the tar. All they see are bricks and growing bushes. Never climb a tree to reach a star.
Cities with swimming activities hired more instructors and extended their limited programs, all to accommodate more children. Most of the transportation costs for field learning trips were provided with the extra funds cities received, like this one for Spokane children who went to Fairchild Air Force Base for a look at the various activities of a strategic air command operation. Another urgent need served by the program was bringing more recreation activities closer to where disadvantaged children live. To do this, the Bureau of Outdoor Recreation encouraged officials to open neighborhood schools for the summer. This gave the children a chance to learn a variety of skills with emphasis on their individual interests. One city reported opening 13 schools for the summer. In previous years, school vandalism costs there ran as high as $4,500, but in 1970, there was no vandalism reported in these schools. The money saved provided funds for a winter recreation program. Like other volunteers, George Foreman, a top contender for the heavyweight championship, gave some of his time to a Houston recreation center and tells why.
I'd like to see a kid introduced to everything there is, and he get a chance to learn whether he liked them or not. A lot of times you don't have the opportunity to even know. I had to leave my hometown and go right across the country to find out about boxing. If I had the opportunity in my hometown, I wouldn't have had to leave.
Houston's Recreation Support Program Director, Frank Hernandez, commented on how things would have been without the extra funds.
It's obvious that very little would have been done in the form of supervised, organized recreation. There would have been no field trips whatsoever.
Houston officials also feel the program was a significant factor in lowering the summer crime rate. A partial year-round program is available in the nation's capital in the form of a roller skating rink, which can be used whenever the weather permits. Funds from the support program bought the skates and will help keep the rink open much of the year. A street shower, something the weatherman can't predict, is a simple but highly effective way of bringing recreation to disadvantaged children. In Detroit and other cities, Playmobiles are enthusiastically received. They feature supervised rides, games, and a basketball hoop, and they can be transported to different neighborhoods each day. Even waiting in line can be fun when there's a ride to look forward to. Support program funds were used here for operation in more neighborhoods, longer hours throughout the summer. Detroit children, even in neighborhoods without pools, had a swimming summer. Their swimmobile program, already augmented by donations from a local television station, was extended with the extra funds. Other areas with larger pools hired more attendants to keep the pools open longer. Some cities have a showmobile program, a truck-drawn stage usually accompanied by a popular local disc jockey. It goes any place in the city it can park and helps make a hot summer enjoyable where supervised recreation and facilities are hard to come by. Gene Smith, director of Detroit's program, cites other advantages funds provided.
We were able to provide leadership at facilities, which we not have now. The psychological advantage of this, especially for black ghetto children is that otherwise they would have no leadership and no place to go. And the feeling of the need for belonging, for protection, for a feeling of someone caring for them. There's tangible results met with these children.
Philadelphia's energetic athletic program served approximately 70,000 young people in 12 low-income areas. The recreation program helped hire 200 men and women to conduct sport training and clinics. Participants competed in a sports spectacular in August. The special event covered many Olympic contests. Even though the 1970 recreation program was late, it was effective in serving disadvantaged youth, and it accomplished its purposes: to expand existing recreation programs, to make as many recreation opportunities available to underprivileged children as possible, and to provide services, including personnel, transportation, hot lunches, and supplies for recreation activities. Interior Secretary Walter J. Hickel outlines his department's motivations and hopes.
As much as people need parks, remember that parks need people, especially children and the sounds of their laughter and play. This is what really brings a park to life. Our green spaces represent a precious resource, but America's young people are our most precious resource, for they are the hope and the promise of tomorrow. We care about children, and helping make their lives more rewarding and gratifying is a responsibility I share willingly.
The initial recreation support program was a success. But what about next summer and the summers that follow? The walls have closed in on today's inner city children. Planned recreation is one way out.
Think of all the children in the city. Think of all the kids without a tree. Think of all the kids who just see buses. Think of them and then please think of me.